Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Youth Hoops. As you can see, this is not Steve Collins today, but if you could see exactly what's happening with your players' shooting form without relying on just your eyes. If you didn't have to guess whether your team's shooting drills are actually working, but could know with certainty which players are improving and where they still need help. Today we have Erik Anderson from Sick Basketball to talk to us about those exact points. What he's learned over the years in analyzing shots. He's put together some amazing technology inside of basketball, and you're like, what? Inside of basketball? Absolutely. We're going to see a demo of what that looks like. Erik, I don't know if you know this, but we did talk about you on our tech section right before the holiday, so maybe that big holiday surge you had was because all our listeners had bought one of your basketballs, hopefully. Erik, welcome to the show. Yeah. Welcome. Glad to have you on finally, since we did talk about you in our tech section I think it was November, December timeframe, right before the holidays when we were highlighting products. Glad to have you on though and dive deep into this amazing technology you guys have built. So Erik, just give us a quick, who are you and what is Sick?
Yeah, no, this has been a long time coming. I think it's been 2 years since we were first introduced. So great to finally be here. Thank you for the support over the years as well. But yeah, my name's Erik. I'm the CEO of SIQ Basketball. You can call it Sick. You might recently know us as the Spalding TFDNA. But we're a smart basketball company. Our goal is to help basketball players of all ages and skill levels improve their game through the use of technology, right? We don't want to sacrifice the game. We don't want to take away from the game. But our founder, he's a professional basketball player. He also has a master's of computer science. And, I met him and I tried his product and I said, wow, this is absolutely incredible. Originally, I actually invested into the company as a VC investor. And because of COVID and because of everything else, they just asked, based on my board position, if I could jump in. And now I've been CEO for over 4 years, and it's been a wild ride, and it's been really exciting. And quite frankly, learned a lot more about youth sports than I probably ever would have. But really, really excited to be here today and talk with you.
So give us the story of how it started. What inspired the creation of it?
Yeah, so I mean, I alluded to it. Hari Hoteri, he's our founder. He's Finnish, so it's actually a European-based technology. I'm one of the few people here in the U.S. focused on the U.S. market and the business side of things. But as I mentioned, he was a professional basketball player. He's also a total nerd. He'd call himself that. But I call him the Finnish unicorn because he's 6'8". He's a professional basketball player and a technology genius.
Yeah.
A few different things had to come together, but he essentially merged all of these sections of his life when he had an opportunity to create an amazing product. And, the original prototypes were just hardware duct taped to a basketball shooting through a hoop. So it's definitely come a long way. But it's simply, hey, that's possible. And those are things I love. Let's see if it works. And
right.
Now it's been quite a few years later.
Okay. Now, in layman's term, what I understand is it's a regular basketball, same size, maybe a couple ounces heavier because you're putting the technology in the stem of the basketball. Is that correct?
So we have multiple versions of hardware. The evolution of the hardware is progressing as the company is evolving. The current consumer product, I'm holding it up on screen here for those watching on YouTube. It's a little bit smaller than the tube of chapstick. It is about 5 grams of weight, and this is cured into the bladder of the basketball. So it'll never be exposed to the consumer. The consumer should never know it's there. It's perfectly counterbalanced, so the ball has previously gone through all the FIBA approvals, so it is official size and weight. Now, I think elite use cases, as you mentioned, we have been working on a smart valve, which is simply the same hardware in a much different form factor, also holding it up for those watching on YouTube. But you can recharge the valve through the same port where you inflate the ball. And so it's a fairly novel technology.
Wow. Yeah.
We're running some playability tests on that. This has also been some years in the making. So we're refining both. Obviously, the elite use case is a little more expensive than the current consumer use case, but for a kid in the backyard or even a high school hooper, the consumer use case is more than adequate.
Okay, so I'm imagining then, if I cut open my basketball and in there is that first little chapstick size piece of tech sitting inside of there. Is that right?
It's so on the version 2, the consumer ball,
yeah.
The unit of hardware is actually opposite the valve.
Okay.
So if you cut open the ball, it would just be hanging on the inside of the bladder.
Yeah, inside of the bladder. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's no charging needed with the consumer version, right? Or there's no batteries, or there's a battery, or
there's a lot of design thinking that goes into the version 2 ball. Kids like to leave their basketball outside, right? So we need to make it a little more durable and weatherproof. So we've designed the battery inside the hardware, and that's also improved over time to about 700 hours. So you can use the ball actively for about 700 hours. You spin to connect it, it wakes up the battery. When the basketball has been sitting for a minute, it goes into a light sleep. When it's been sitting for 5 minutes, it goes into a much deeper sleep. So you need to spin it a little bit more to wake it up on initial use. But no, yeah, essentially the battery's meant to be right there with you for the full life of the basketball. I think you could play with the ball 2 hours a day for a year. You'd wear out the basketball before you wear out the battery. So it doesn't need to be recharged.
And then, I'm anticipating some of the questions that we're gonna hear. Can I use the same basketball if I'm playing in the backyard with my buddies, or is it just a shooting ball, or would I want to have a different ball?
It's also designed to be durable. You can play it at a pickup game. You can play it with your buddies. Obviously, tracking shots and using the data. There's a little nuance there. You're connected to the app. We have different modes. So if you just want to have a casual session when you're shooting with your teammates or your friends, and not maybe put those exactly to your profile, but they can go to a group session. There are other features that we're working on where we can identify the shooter based on shots, but those are a little bit down the pipeline, but definitely coming. No, but it's meant to be a normal basketball. Like I said at the top of the interview, it was we don't want to sacrifice the game. We don't want technology to overpower the game. We want to make a premium basketball, whether it's indoor, outdoor, all surface. We've always been a basketball company first, and so like that level of playability is the most important thing to us.
And I can't even imagine the technology that goes into building something like you're doing, because let's just talk about the consumer tracking of my shooting. So in layman's term, not how are you tracking what you're tracking, and what are you tracking? What data am I going to get out of it?
Yeah, so without going too granular about the technology, we've developed over 20 patents. Most of them are AI or ML, machine learning based algorithms to detect events. So we can tell you at over 99% accuracy as long as it's a normal hoop with a normal net. If you made or missed your shot, we have swish detection, we have release angle, we have release speed, we have a distance algorithm. So if you look at very expensive in-gym computer vision systems, which are excellent, they're really cool, love them. We do a decent amount of what they do at a consumer price point.
Okay. And then, so, you know, you have apps. There's apps that just track, right? I put up, right, in and watches me and does all this, tracks all of the stats. The alternative, then, what you're saying is the SIQ basketball, right? So I don't need an app that I put up and have a camera. I have my camera on. All I need is the ball. Then it does connect to my phone or an app on my phone where I can see all the stats, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And it's again, I'm just actually blown away by the size of the technology, right? Because it's connecting through Bluetooth, right? And then to be able to perfect that over time and to learn shooting, it's absolutely mind-blowing what it is. And I can't imagine with a little more time what it's going to be. Can you give us a glimpse into, if you had your magic wand, like where does it go from here? Like what data, what additional things? And because I imagine there's the whole data side, and then there's some of the stuff that you had alluded to with you guys are doing the NBA launch pad, so that's a whole different product, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with that question, and
Yeah, I
I
know.
thank you for that question because
Yeah,
I could just talk about it
I would
this
imagine.
whole interview.
Yeah.
I think I've always said like the potential of the consumer product is endless. Like we've just launched some new features that we're seeing users love. You could be in your backyard, I could be in my backyard or at my local park, and
Hmm.
we could go head to head. I could send
Oh,
you a
wow.
challenge request. Let's make 50 shots, or let's see who can make the most out of 50 shots, or who can swish the most out of 50 shots, but we have to be from 15 feet back or 20 feet back, right? So we can set
Yeah.
those parameters and throw challenges to each other in our head-to-head section.
And this is live
Um,
now, you're saying?
this is live now. We launched this last month, and it's been really
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
And we've also done we've added new programs. So we're actually working with some really big name coaches. If you're familiar with Tyler Rell for Irv Roland, these guys train NBA players. They also train youth players, right?
Hmm.
They're just
Hmm. Yeah.
excellent minds of basketball, and we have a lot of video of them in the app giving drills to
Oh, okay.
players. So
Yeah.
we actually have like a whole program section in the app. And while you're doing those programs, we can actually identify and say, hey, your shot's looking a little flat, or hey, your release speed's a little slow. And then we could refer you to more training on how to maybe improve some
Mm.
of those things.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're actually kind of already becoming an AI shooting coach in your pocket,
Yeah.
not to replace other coaches. Certainly, we don't want to do that. We just want to be a complementary tool to how people are training already. Um, and yeah, just adding some new gamification to the consumer project is has been great. Challenges, competitions, giving away some really cool prizes with Spalding. We've done in-ground hoops. We've worked with other partners like Dr. Dish for
Mm.
IC3s, just
Yeah, right.
being
Yeah.
kind of like a community and a central hub for all things shooting has been our goal from a consumer experience side of things. And then to your next question, where this goes, like, we're a smart valve or a smart hardware product. We built this out as a platform so we can actually start to do other things. So you mentioned the NBA Launchpad um, program that we're in, and we've applied for it previously. We haven't gotten in, but our technology has gotten to a point where I think the playability is going to be really, really good, and that's a really important thing at the most elite
Yeah.
level of basketball. But we're working on some algorithms to help automate officiating, start to improve maybe the speed of getting calls correct. So like last touch, out of bounds, end of period,
Mm.
end of shot clock type scenarios where we can actually help identify, was the ball being touched in this moment? Sometimes really close calls. I know there was one critical one in the Final Four that caused a lot of chaos on Twitter. But like we can really help with that, and we've already shown in some early tests that we can help identify these last touch events pretty quickly and pretty effectively. So really excited to see where that goes, and of course, like, I think the technology can go far beyond just basketball. I think there's other sports and other use cases for it, but let's obviously stick to basketball today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously anything, there's a ball and you have either the technology that's inside the ball. Why the two different products? The first one you showed us, the chapstick size white one, and then the other one that you showed us with the plug. And again, if you're listening to this, you'll have to go to YouTube and check the two different ones out. But why the valve? Yeah, there you go. Why the black one?
So the valve, so the white one's great for a consumer, right?
Okay.
Kid in the backyard, it's significantly less expensive to make.
Okay.
The smart valve, there are use cases for why it should be rechargeable. There are use cases for why it needs to be lighter. The valve on the normal basketball, by definition, is already one dead spot. And by having an additional secondary, even if it's a very small dead spot, still a dead spot can impact playability. So by limiting the ball to one dead spot, but still maintaining essentially the same core shape and integrity of the ball is really important. So this valve actually adds less than 1 net gram of weight to a normal valve. So in terms of playability, it's very slight, very slight. And yeah, we're obviously still developing that out and making sure it's a scalable manufacturable product, but early indications are really promising.
That's amazing. So if I'm Steph Curry and I, get up 7,000 shots a day, am I going to be able to tell?
We hope not.
Exactly. So I have the ball, I'm shooting at home. My arc is off. There's videos that I can watch right online as well to see, get some help, get some pointers on what I'm doing, what I could be doing better. I can play with my buddies across town. We can do challenges. There's leaderboards as well. And so it really makes, you're really gamifying also just kid shooting in his backyard, which is really making that the modern version of shooting in my backyard, right? Which is pretty fascinating. Well, why don't we do this? Let's show what the data and the things that I get on my app. That would be awesome.
Let's do it. Yeah. What I have here is our Spalding TFDNA box. This is what the consumer receives in the mail. You just open it up. Step one, it's going to come with a prepaid membership. So you just scratch off the QR code, scan it, you set up your account. You get right into it. We have the step 2 and step 3 on the box as well. And then we give our customer just the opportunity to reach out to customer support immediately. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of people who receive this as a gift. We have a lot of people who might just have general questions. We want to be there, and we focus on customer service. I mean, it's no one's ever really done a smart ball before, so it could be maybe not as intuitive.
Right.
But yeah, so you get your ball. This is our first product with Spalding. It's a all-surface indoor-outdoor premium ball, black. We're really happy with it. Spalding quality is excellent. I love shooting with it. It's a great outdoor ball. It's actually a pretty good indoor ball as well. But I'm going to show you what the app looks like. So let me know if you see my screen.
Yep, we see it.
Awesome. So we have badges up here. So, if you complete different challenges, shoot in different locations, shoot different quantities, make different quantities. Pretty cool. New feature. We've actually just recently added those. You can see I received a lot of badges on April 3rd. So I think those all came out at the same. I think they came out on April 3rd. We have different challenges. So you can just start by entering a free throw challenge where if you make 3 free throws from 14 feet, the next challenge gets harder and harder and harder. So you can just gamify against yourself.
Yeah.
We have different programs. So you can see here Tyler Ralph, who's I mentioned earlier, a shooting coach, NBA skills coach, doing different skills and drills. This one's actually focused on spin rate. Maybe we're having a challenge in the app and we want to provide drills to help you win that challenge in the app, right? So there's different things there. So really cool. My weekly targets, I have to admit I haven't been shooting this week. It's only Thursday, and if you can't hear it by my voice, I'm recovering from a sinus infection. But before we jump into the next shooting session, I'll show you a few more cool features in the app. We have a progress bar where you can see your shot attempts, your shooting percentage, and your swish percentage over time. Unfortunately, I'm mostly doing shooting demos, and I'm letting a bunch of people shoot on my account, so I wouldn't trust these numbers. But we also have a social leaderboard. So we're having people in the last 7 days shoot thousands of shots, right? We have a very engaged activity, or a very engaged group of shooters and users and community, and we're doing everything we can to keep those numbers improving. And then I think let's just show you what we got here. So I'm just going to enter a simple shoot around. I'm not sure if you could hear that, but the app said start shooting by spinning the ball in the air. So I'm going to just go ahead and spin the ball, and that should wake it up. And so if you see this ball pop up,
very cool.
Now we're in session. So you can see here shooting right now 0 for 0. We track distance, we track release time, we track spin rate, we track shot form, and we track shot arc. So I'm inside my apartment. I don't have a hoop, but I'm going to treat my wall like it's a backboard. So I won't get a make on this one, but I'll certainly get a miss. If that registers a shot, within half a second, we tell you make or miss.
Wow.
We tell you distance. We tell you release time. We tell you spin rate. We tell you shot form. And we tell you shot arc, right? My shot form is obviously a robot because I've only shot one shot. My shot arc is good because I'm sitting down and throwing the ball straight up quite high. But you can connect multiple basketballs to a session. So if you had 2 or 3 connected balls, that's no problem. Especially if you had a rebounder, whether another person or a machine. And then you end your session and you have a full report on what you did. You can see different elements of your shot. I think obviously only one shot doesn't show a great visual example of the types of information we provide, but I think that gives a fairly decent overview of what the product is.
That's amazing. What you can tell. I'm blown away by that. It's something I wish I had coming up and playing basketball. I know I'm probably still a robot when I shoot.
Yeah,
What are the other? Where do you go from there? Like, okay, it's a robot, but what are the others? What's the other feedback you would get if it was a perfect shot?
We have audio cues in the app, so you can turn those off. You can turn those on. You can set your parameters. So let's say I wanted to do a shooting drill where all my shots were under 1 second release time or under 0.8 release time. I can do audio cues where it's like if I don't make the shot, it tells me certain information.
Okay.
If my shot arc is flat, it could say your shot arc's flat. We turn different audio cues on. We can define what a perfect shot is too. That's like certain release speed, certain release angle, and a swish. So like there's just other things we can provide you there. Things we can't do. We can't necessarily tell you where you missed, like where on the rim you missed. That's something that NOAA, the NBA system, can do.
Yeah.
You're consistently missing to the right. I mean, there's a limit to certain parts of the technology, but we're constantly just listening to our customers and adding new details to what we to what we're building.
What are some of the features that didn't make it so far, or the features that are coming up that you can speak to?
Yeah, we so my team engineers, they're geniuses.
Yeah,
They're basketball nerds. There's this like cross section of um basketball and technology within our team. So
yeah,
whether you're a data scientist, a PhD, just a computer scientist, there's this underlying like let's make really cool features, and it's kind of been my job and the business side to be like, hey, let's simplify features and let's maybe not put it all out there until they're fully baked.
yeah,
Because we have some really cool stuff. It just takes a little bit of a more polished user experience to unleash them into the wild. So it's some things that we do have coming down the pipeline is a heat map. So if you calibrate your
mm,
court, which requires a certain amount of shots at a certain amount of locations, anytime you shoot on that court, we're going to be able to tell you make or miss from each location with a
oh, nice,
pretty
yeah,
impressive level of accuracy. So at the end of your session, it will have a heat map. So that's something that we've actually teased to the public.
yeah,
We've used it. We've taken it away to refine it, and it should be coming back. We also do have a unique shooter ID that's been in development. So if you shoot and complete your shooter profile, which is take 20 shots from 50 locations, I forget, I think it's 500 total shots, but they all have to meet specific criteria. So it might take about 700 shots to actually train the model to learn Bill versus Erik.
mm,
But once you have that, you could have two people. You say, hey, we're in the same session together, and we can identify those shots at like 97, 98, 99% accuracy, depending on how good the shooter is. So the better the shooter, and the more repeatable the shooter movements are, the more
that's
accurate
crazy.
we can be, as opposed to if you had like maybe two 10-year-olds who've just picked up a basketball within the last month, their
Yeah.
shot might actually be a lot more similar than to professionals who are like highly refined in terms of like how we interpret the data of a ball being
Yeah.
shot.
So that actually brings up a really good point. Let's take the 10-year-old, right? Who, what do all 10-year-old boys want to do when they hit the court? Shoot threes,
Yeah.
right? So, they're heaving the ball up, they're using two hands, they're pushing it from the hip, throwing it forward. Obviously not a good shot, right? So, what is the data going to tell me about that? It's going to tell me it's not a good shot, or is it calibrated to also like, okay, the difference between if you and I were using it versus a 10-year-old using it, what is it going to tell me?
Well, first of all, thank you for giving me credit to even think I'm in the same ballpark of shooter as you. But second of all,
Yeah.
it'll say shot form inconsistent. It'll say your release speed's probably really slow. It'll point you to new drills, and in those drills, a lot of there's everything from form shooting to technique to just like best practice. We don't want to tell everyone to shoot the exact same way. We just
Mm,
want to provide fundamentals of like, here's how you're going to unlock your shot.
yeah.
If you're going to go to the court and just start heaving threes without a lot of guidance, that's your prerogative. Maybe the kids don't have access to great coaching. Maybe they're just trying to have fun. But I think a kid who's really driven to become a great shooter, I think we're a great resource for them in the app to see a lot of really great content on how to shoot better.
Well, and that again, another good question too is so, would you generally say you're the ideal target or avatar for this particular product is that kid that as young as X who wants to learn how to play or how to shoot better? You've been in business now, what, 3, 4 years with actual selling, or is it shorter than that?
This is year 4.
Year 4. Okay. So you learned kind of who your market is. Where is it settling in at this point?
Yeah, I think our our simple answer to that is people who are picking up a basketball for the first time is like
Okay.
really what we want to target.
Yeah.
There's various reasons for that, whether it's if you are wearing an Apple Watch and you do a workout and you track that workout,
Mm-hmm.
it feels complete. The next time you work out without that Apple Watch, you're like, did I even work out? I don't know. So I think there's an element of just like helping people get in the habit of tracking their performance, tracking their workouts. I also think it's a great resource for someone who doesn't have to play with a specific ball, right? Like the more you get into certain leagues and teams,
Mm-hmm.
you have to play with this ball or this ball based on the tournament or the region that you're in, right? And so I think especially for just a beginner, I think it's a premium ball. It's accessible. It's going to give you access to coaching that you would probably never otherwise have access to.
Yeah.
And whether you're 10 years old or 60 years old, we're actually seeing and we're able to track people's improvement. And I think like a
Mm-hmm.
headline that we're going to start to play around with is like we're seeing the average user on our app who actually shoots for 12 weeks improve by nearly 20% across their
Wow.
shot. And like that's maybe just generally just shooting. That's maybe slightly faster than what you would do, but I don't think anyone just picking up a basketball for the first time would know that they've actually improved
Right.
20%.
Right. Yeah,
Right. So it's
exactly.
like
Yeah,
it doesn't even
absolutely.
sound
Yeah.
like that impressive of a number, but 20% is a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's really like that's a great improvement. And we're seeing like top quartile people improve 25 to 30%,
Mm.
from like their initial couple hundred shots to after 12 weeks of shooting regularly. So um yeah, I mean, I think anyone who's working out, anyone who's training, if you're
Yeah.
if you're tracking your data, you're tracking your progress, I think it provides an extra layer of intelligence so that you can get better quicker. Like
Eh,
the greatest shooters, I think Bill, you've
Yeah.
probably worked with a few of them. Um, if you're a great shooter, we've worked with Duncan Robinson. He would be in a notepad tracking all of his shots.
Oh yeah.
Every 50 or 100 shots, how many did he make? Now everyone can actually do it with an app, and you can spend more time shooting, work smarter, maybe not harder, still work hard. But yeah, I think like that's something that is also really really cool.
So from what I understand too, like, and this is where it goes from like an individual to if I'm a high school coach or grade school coach for that matter, uh, I can have one or two of these balls and uh, be able to, if I'm doing a shooting drill, eventually I'm going to be able to tell I'm going to have data on the improvement of my entire team with just maybe two or three balls, right? Which is absolutely fascinating. And I think that's what you were saying, right? I mean, that's where it goes from just an individual to I can really, as a coach, I can really use this to benefit the entire team. Maybe I can't afford a shooting machine, but here I can afford, the ball with the subscription, right?
Yeah, and I think even just like if you've ever done like a 6 week fitness challenge, like how many push-ups can you do at the
Right.
start
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
how many can you do
Yeah.
at the end, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
even for benchmarking, right? It's you
Hmm.
can sit there and track everything by hand too, but every 2 weeks, how many free throws in a row can
That's a
you
good
make? How
point.
many
Yeah.
how many threes can you make? I think there's a lot of cool stuff we can do.
I
And
like
we've
that,
seen
man.
we've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
coaches, and we want to build out more features for this. Like we do have a friends section in the app where you can have like,
Hmm.
here's all your teammates, here's team one, here's team two. And coaches, if coaches really utilize this, it makes a lot of sense for homework. So like if here's your off-season shooting program, I want to make sure you're shooting 200 shots a week or
Right.
500 shots a week. And you can go and show the coach, hey, I did the work. And so I think there's certain things that we're just trying to get a great product in the market. There's new verticals and new nuance that we're
Right.
working on
I
every
would
single
imagine.
day.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think we're just listening. So if there's any feedback from the audience about what they'd like to see, I'm all here for it.
So that actually brings a good point. Right now, though, if I'm a coach and if I give or if let's say, my whole team, 10 players have the ball in the off season, they're using it. As the coach, I can set up a team, or I can part of a smaller group to see if each individual is shooting? Is that what
Yeah,
I'm understanding?
right now it's on a teams mode. So if you're sorry, it's on friends mode. So you can just be friends
Okay.
with
Bring your
everyone,
friends.
and you
Got
can
it.
go in and you
Okay.
can see who's shooting what.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm sure we'll get there when we have here's a coach.
Yeah. And here's the
Yeah.
team. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So tell us, where do I find it and how much does it cost?
Yeah. So right now we're selling on Amazon and Spalding.com. So only online, direct to consumer. A few reasons for that. One is we want to help make sure the customer service experience, if needed, is there.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to reach out online if anyone has one and there's any questions or concerns or anything. Yeah, we take a direct to consumer approach. Uh, the bundle, the ball plus the first year subscription, $159. Um, Typically, it's a $125 ball, $125 annual subscription. Ball plus first year, $159. I will say that Prime Day is coming up, so if people want a slight discount from that, I would say just wait for that. But no, the ball, we try and keep it accessible in terms of price. People say, "Oh, that's such a good deal." Some people say, "Why would I ever buy a $159 basketball?" I think for the service, I think it's an excellent value, and we want to keep it accessible to most people.
And maybe if you're listening to this, I can talk Eric into a little discount for Coaching Youth Hoops listeners. I'll twist his arm. Or maybe we'll do a shootout, and if I win, then you'll give us 50%. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
50%.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, no, let's definitely talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
We'll make it worthwhile for anyone.
Awesome. That's great. Anything I missed that you want to share about what you guys are up to? What's next? Anything else that you think is an important detail that I understand about the ball itself and the tech and or the tracking capabilities?
Yeah, no, we're definitely working on a premium indoor ball as we speak.
Okay.
Really excited about that. I can't say too much, but it will be nice. It will be as good as any other premium game ball on the market. Hoping to have that out there for the holiday season this year. Just because it's been in development, we're working on it.
Hmm.
That will be with Spalding as well. So we'll be coming out with that. It just is, with these tariffs and with, some other bottlenecks, we have to see how quickly we can get there. But no, I mean, we're just really continuing to try and build a community. Honestly, if anyone has one or if anyone's interested, reach out on LinkedIn, reach out on Instagram. We can maybe pop the handles up
Yeah,
somewhere.
we'll do that. Yep.
We're super engaged on those platforms. If anyone has any thoughts, ideas, yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
And it
We're
comes
just
in
trying to
both
take like,
boys and girls size, men's and girls size, women's
yeah, we have
sizes,
size
right?
6 and size 7.
Yeah.
We're we're not. I was going to say something, but I think we focus on men and women and youth equally. It's a
Mm.
premium product for everyone. Basketball is for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for your time. This has been awesome. I'm excited about the product just because, again, data, right? And I can't wait to see the developments come. When you have some major developments, reach out. Happy to share. Happy to get you back on the podcast again to take a look at that. Just because I think, there's anything we can do to help the kids and improve and get a little bit better and provide them data, but especially make the way you guys are going about it with the challenges, the extra help you're giving them. You're gamifying the concept just to get the kids out and play, right? And now they can see just by playing the improvement they're making, and that's huge, right? Especially with this initiative of the United States of getting 60% of kids to play a sport, right? Because the numbers have really dropped off since COVID, and you guys are playing a major part in that just by gamifying the whole concept of shooting a ball. And so anyway, hats off to you. Keep up the great work. I'm glad you could make it on the show.
No, thanks for having me, and yeah, can't wait for the next one. And yeah, we'll send you a new ball, and maybe we'll come up with a fun idea to do something great for your
great.
community
Yeah.
and your listeners.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, Erik, thank you. And coaches, this is it. We'll see you next time on the Coaching Youth Hoops podcast.
Thank you.